Today was Mason's company off-site. He said he wouldn't be home until after the team dinner. I finally had the place to myself, so after I got back I took a long, lazy shower. Steam clouded the bathroom mirror. I reached out to wipe it, and froze. Two perfect handprints glowed in the fog. Both were clearly smaller than mine. I stood there, heart hammering. Mason was still out. So, who had been inside our house? I forced myself to stay calm and dialed him, keeping my voice light. "Hey babe, is the off-site over? Did you swing by today?" Background noise blasted through the phone. He sounded tipsy. "Not yet. I've been with the team the whole Sam." "Why, hon?" I laughed that everything was fine, hung up, and my hands went ice cold. He claimed he hadn't come home? I stared at the mirror again, then started combing the house for clues. Finally, in the bathroom trash, I found a travel-sized tube of cherry blossom scented hand cream, not the brand I use. It hit me, the prints were so crisp because someone had pressed lotion-covered palms against the glass. That night I didn't sleep a wink. Next morning, without calling ahead, I drove to Mason's office. His junior assistant Hannah politely ushered me in and poured me a glass of water. When she turned, the same sugary cherry blossom scent drifted my way. I studied her back, glanced at the photo of the prints on my phone, then looked at her hands resting on the desk. Just then the door opened and Mason walked in, delight flickering across his face. "Honey, surprise inspection?" He strode over, sliding an arm around my waist and planting a kiss on my forehead, right in front of her. "See? My wife adores me," he added, loud enough for Hannah to hear. Her face drained for a second, then she looked down. "Avery, Rachel, I'll get back to work." As she pivoted away, I spoke. "Hold on." Her steps stalled, shoulders stiffening. I lifted my phone and showed Mason the picture, volume pitched so the gawkers in the hallway could hear. "Babe, do we have a ghost? Look at this." After my shower last night these showed up on the mirror, tiny, freaky, girl-sized prints. His grin cemented in place. Hannah's back quivered. "Don't spook yourself," Mason recovered, guiding me to the couch in mock concern. "It's just condensation. Ghosts aren't real." "Really?" I tilted my head. "Then explain what I fished out of the trash." I set the cherry blossom mini tube on the coffee table. The office hushed. Hannah's fingers curled into fists. The cloying floral smell turned my stomach. "Maybe the cleaner left it last week," Mason muttered, rolling the sampler between his palms. "You've got hawk eyes, sweetie." He wanted to sweep it away. Old me might have let him. Looking at the man I'd loved since college, 8 years of scraping together a down payment on a fixer-upper, driving the car my parents helped us finance, believing love conquered all, I felt only estrangement. "Send me last night's off-site pics," I pivoted sweetly. "I want to see how much fun you guys had." It was a trap. Mason exhaled with relief and thumbed his phone. "Coming your way." He missed the flash of ice in my eyes. "Mason, you'd better pray there's nothing sturdier for me to find, because if there is, I'll teach you what it means for a cheating mutt to get booted back to the kennel." He texted several group shots, rows of coworkers grinning until their cheeks cramped, Mason dead center, flanked by male colleagues, perfect alibi photos. Hannah was missing from every frame. Naive didn't begin to cover it. That evening I told him I was beat and asked him to shower first. The second the bathroom door clicked shut, I opened the smart speakers app. I scrolled the play history, mostly my favorites, until I hit 9:30 last night. A song I loathe glowed on the screen, the TikTok earworm asterisk, Love Lane Love Lane. Asterisk. I despise its syrupy stupidity, and Mason knew it. He'd sworn he'd decapitate anyone who dared play it in his presence. Yet there it was, logged at the exact Sam he'd claimed to be at the off-site dinner. I snapped a screenshot, ice crystallizing in my chest. For the next few days Mason was a model husband, breakfast on the table, dishes whisked away after dinner, single strands of hair lifted from the floor and tenderly tucked behind my ear. "Work's stressing you, babe, look, you're shedding." His sympathy almost made me gag. One Emery he came home lugging a Clearwater Bay tote. I'm cooking tonight, your fave, steamed sea bass. He bustled into the kitchen. I stayed at the counter, unmoving. 30 minutes later a fragrant platter arrived, scallions and scarlet chili threads gleaming. Mason heaped a silky chunk into my bowl. Try it, learned the recipe from Dolores. I eyed the fish, then him. Mason, I said quietly, I'm allergic to ginger and scallions. You forgot? His smile shattered. When we'd first started dating, we went out for dinner and I accidentally bit into a dish that had ginger in it. Within seconds I was breaking out in scarlet hives and gasping for air. The paramedics took me to the ER. After that he was even more nervous about it than I was. In our kitchen we never again allowed scallions or ginger. But tonight he'd personally cooked a whole fish buried under a snowfall of scallions and asked me to try a piece. Holy, he shot up from his chair, every drop of color gone from his face. Rachel, I forgot. I swear it wasn't on purpose. He lunged, trying to whisk the plate away. It's fine. I stopped him and forced a smile. If you forgot, you forgot. People change. Right then I knew, some things couldn't come back. He hadn't forgotten, he'd simply stopped caring enough to remember. No one touched a bite of that meal. The fish cooled on the table exactly the way our love was cooling, quietly, irreversibly dying. Our anniversary was just around the corner. The air itself smelled cloyingly sweet, like every couple in the city had decided to exhale perfume at once. Mason must have figured the scallion gingerfish incident had annoyed me, because lately he was trying twice as hard to butter me up. He snagged a reservation at the priciest French place in town and promised I'd be blown away. The day before the anniversary he slipped me a fancy wrapped box with a theatrical wink. Happy anniversary, babe. Inside lay a set of black lace lingerie. The fabric barely existed, the cut was blatant, nothing like me at all. I live in cloud-soft cotton, I hate elastic that squeezes the breath out of my ribs. Do you love it? He wrapped his arms around me from behind, chin on my shoulder, breath speeding up. Wear it for me tonight. I pinched those pitiful scraps and smirked inside. The taste level was sub-basement. I feigned excitement. Love it. I love anything you pick, honey. While he showered I slipped my hand into his jacket pocket and instantly found the receipt. Printed plain as day, Blaze Rose Lace Lingerie Set, black, ×2, sale, buy one get one half off. He'd bought two, buy one get one half off. Mason, you truly are a bargain-hunting great husband. I snapped a picture of the receipt, slid it back into his pocket, and pretended I'd never been there. Next morning I did my makeup with extra precision and put on a brand new wrap dress. Mason looked me up and down, eyes sparkling. Babe, you're stunning today. Really? I smoothed my hair in the mirror. Special day calls for special effort. He beamed, delighted. On his way out he reminded me, don't forget our date and my present. I nodded, and the instant he was gone my smile collapsed. I took the box with the black lace and stared at it while a plan took shape, slow and perfect. You adore surprises, don't you, Mason? Then tonight I'll hand you one you'll never forget. That afternoon I showed up outside Mason's office carrying an identical gift box. The receptionist knew me. Hey Rachel, here to see Avery? I smiled and walked straight in. Near the break room I caught two female coworkers whispering. Did you see Hannah's bracelet? That's Van Cleef, right? Has to be fake, no intern can afford the real thing. Don't be sure. Girl's got skills, Avery's wrapped around her finger. Wait, I thought Avery was married? His wife is gorgeous. Pretty doesn't beat young and clingy. Word is he took her shopping yesterday for. Their voices died when they noticed me. Faces flushed, they scattered like pigeons. I reached Mason's open office door. He wasn't there. Hannah was lounging in his manager chair, phone up for a selfie, murmuring, Avery's so sweet, he's got a surprise for me. She wore a flirty pink dress and a four-leaf clover bracelet that flashed tacky under the ceiling LEDs. She didn't see me until she lowered the phone and met my stare. She jumped up, eyes watery, lower lip trembling. Rachel, comfy? I stepped inside and parked my box on the desk. Beats your cubicle, huh? I was just tidying while the manager's away. She bleated, pale and teary, acting mortally wounded. You've got it wrong, Rachel. Tidying? I snorted. With your butt? I skipped the small talk. Couple days ago someone broke into my house, I said lightly. Hannah's pupils shrank like I'd turned off the lights. I went on, nothing valuable missing, just 2 handprints on my mirror and half-used hand cream in my trash. Weird, right? I locked eyes with her. That cherry blossom scent? An exact match to what you're wearing. I don't know what you mean, she shrieked, voice cracking. It's a mistake. A mistake? I shoved the gift box into her arms. Here, your Avery left your present at my place. Thought I'd drop it off. She clutched the box as if it burned. Want to open it? Or do you already own the twin set? I flipped my phone open and flashed the receipt photo in her face. Buy one get one half off, Ellis, your going rate is bargain basement. Hannah's face blanched to paper. She hugged the box, lips quivering, speechless. Outside the doorway half the floor had gathered, buzzing and pointing. You've got to be kidding me. Mason's roar cut through the crowd. He shoved his way in. He tore the box from Hannah's hands and hurled it to the floor. Bits of black lace exploded across the carpet like a cheap, shattered flower. Rachel, have you lost your damn mind? Rachel, your eyes are bloodshot. Pointing at my nose, you shout, do you even realize this is the company? You've embarrassed me in front of everyone. Embarrassed? I let out a cold laugh and swept my gaze over the circle of coworkers. When you brought the intern back to our house and fooled around on our marriage bed, didn't you feel embarrassed then? When you two pressed handprints on the bathroom mirror while playing kinky games, didn't you feel embarrassed? When you used the money we saved with our sweat to buy her knockoff bracelets and lace lingerie sets, cashing in on buy one get one half off deals, didn't you feel embarrassed? Each sentence I delivered bleached another shade from Mason's face. The murmurs around us grew louder. Holy crap, for real? They went that wild? Told you Hannah's bracelet was fake, turns out Avery gifted her the A-grade knockoff. I'm dying. Rachel's savage, storming the office like this. Legendary. Hannah was already sobbing, hiccuping, draped limply against Mason's chest. Manager. I didn't mean it, it's Rachel. She misunderstood me. Mason hugged her with pity. When he turned to me, his eyes brimmed with disgust. He wiped the water from his face and snarled at the onlookers, what are you staring at? Get back to work. Then he jabbed a finger at me and launched a counterattack. Everyone saw it, this woman's insane. Jealous to the core, checks up on me day and night, and now she barges in here acting like a shrew. Security! Security! Drag this troublemaker out. Watching his frantic, ugly display, I actually calmed down. I pulled another item from my bag and slapped it onto his desk. Divorce papers. Sign. My voice was perfectly steady. The house and the car are my premarital assets, none of your business. The savings will split 50-50. I already did the math. Your half exactly covers what you blew on bags and bracelets for Ellis here. Mason stared at the document as if lightning had struck him, frozen in place. Divorce? He muttered, disbelieving. Over something this small you want a divorce? Small? I laughed so hard tears nearly fell. Mason, in your book Betrayal and Lies are small? I just made the same mistake every guy on earth makes, he burst out, losing control. The person I love is still you. I had a moment of stupidity. Can't you forgive me just once? Forgive? I stepped forward, picked up the glass Hannah had just poured for me, and flung the water squarely in his face. Tell that to the Grim Reaper, asshole. Ignoring the chaos behind me, I walked straight out of that nauseating office. My phone was about to explode, dozens of calls and texts from Mason. A couple of coworkers messaged too. A senior I'm close to wrote, "Rachel, don't let it get to you." Mason's still in there ranting that you're unreasonable, but nobody buys it. Everyone's privately laughing at him for flipping the script when he's the clown who screwed up. I didn't answer a single one. I blacklisted him and powered off. I drove to the French restaurant we'd booked weeks ago. The waiter greeted me politely. "Good evening, madam." "Are you Rachel, the reservation?" "Yes." "Your husband hasn't arrived?" "He's dead," I answered with a bright smile. The waiter's expression froze. Ignoring him, I strolled to the reserved window table and Saturday. "Bring me every recommended dish on the menu," I said, handing it back, "plus your most expensive bottle of red." Dining alone still deserves ceremony. I cut my steak leisurely, sipped wine, snapped a photo, and posted it on Instagram. Caption: "Dining solo, still happy. Thanks, Mr. Grant, for footing the bill. This farewell feast tastes fantastic." Comments poured in instantly. Friends asked what happened. Mason's coworkers replied with strings of ellipses and popcorn emojis. I didn't respond, focusing on my glorious meal. I ate and drank with utter satisfaction. When I got home, Mason was waiting at the door. He looked wrecked, hair messy, shirt rumpled, damp streaks still on his face. The moment he saw me, he rushed over. "Rachel, listen to me. Hannah and I really just what?" I cut him off. "Just rolled around on our bed exchanging work pointers." He choked, face flushing an ugly purple. "Do you have to be this harsh?" he begged. "All these years together, and our love collapses so easily?" "Love?" I stared at his hypocritical face and found it hilarious. "The second you unbuttoned her blouse, you fed our love to the dogs." "Mason, stop nauseating me." I pushed past him to open the door. He latched onto my arm with terrifying strength. "I'm not divorcing," he roared, eyes crimson. "Rachel, I won't sign." His nails dug into my skin, sharp pain shooting up. His shameless thuggishness ignited my rage. "Screw you." I rammed my knee between his legs. Mason groaned, doubling over, clutching himself. I broke free, slipped inside, and slammed the door shut, locking it before he could react. I leaned against the door, listening to his pained curses outside, yet my heart stayed eerily calm. "Mason, this is only the beginning." Next morning I didn't go to work, I took the day off. I needed Sam to help me untangle this mess. I sat on the sofa and hauled out everything linked to Mason. Our couple photos, gifts he'd given, even love letters he once wrote. Looking at these remnants of sweetness now, I felt only irony. I tossed them one by one into a trash bag. 8 years of youth, written off as dog feed. At noon the doorbell rang. Thinking it was Mason, I ignored it. But the caller kept pressing. "Rachel, it's Dolores, open up." My mother-in-law. I frowned but finally opened the door. Dolores rushed in, frantic, grabbing my hands to scold. "Rachel, how could you be so childish?" "Mason told me everything, it's just a tiny misunderstanding, how can you blow it up into divorce?" Spats between spouses end once you hit the pillow, what grudge is worth a night? I slid my hand free and stared at her with ice in my eyes. "Dolores, this is between Mason and me. You don't know the facts, so stay out of it." "I know plenty." Dolores's voice shot up. "A man plays around a little, so what? He knows he messed up, he apologized. What more do you want? You won't be happy until you tear this family apart, will you? Men make mistakes, you have to be bigger." Listening to her upside-down logic, I got so mad I laughed. "Bigger?" I shot back. "If I'd been the one sleeping around and Mason caught me, would you be telling him to be bigger?" Dolores choked on her answer, then flushed purple with rage. "Don't you dare talk nonsense. You're a woman, how can you compare? He was just having fun, you'd be ruining the family name." "Got it," I said, nodding. When a man cheats, it's having fun. When a woman does it, it's ruining the family name. Your double standard is Olympic level. You unfilial witch. The Grant family must have been cursed for 8 lifetimes to bring in a troublemaker like you. Dolores shook all over, face scarlet, clutching her chest and wheezing, classic blood pressure spike. You're absolutely right, I said, folding my arms. I'm not just stirring the pot, I'm smashing the whole kitchen. I walked to the living room, fetched the divorce papers, and laid them in front of her. Your son? I'm done. This house. Complimentary. If you feel sorry for him, take him home and raise him again, just keep him on a leash this time. Dolores stared at the documents, her lips bleaching white. You think he'll sign? Over my dead body, not your call. I smiled. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. I paused, then spelled it out, word by word. Mason's job at his current company? My dad pulled strings to get him in. That manager title? Also courtesy of Dad's phone call. Dolores's face cycled through every color on the wheel. What did you say? I leaned to her ear and whispered, your golden boy is a kept man who climbed in on my family's coattails. Guess how many hours he'd last in that office without me. Dolores looked struck by lightning, stumbling backward until her knees hit the floor. You're lying. Lie? I looked down at her. Go home and ask your precious son if I'm lying. I opened the door and gestured. Dolores, mind the step, don't let it hit you on the way out. She shuffled away like a ghost. I knew she'd hunt Mason for confirmation. The real show hadn't even started. Sure enough, minutes later Mason rang a mutual friend, begging her to pass along a plea for a conversation. I ignored it. That afternoon my father called. Cece, what's going on with Mason? His boss cornered me today, some major screw-up on his project. They're talking demotion. Dad sounded calm, but I recognized the quiet fury underneath. Dad, stay out of it. I've got this. You're my daughter, of course I'm in. That punk hurt you, didn't he? My nose stung, tears almost fell. I'm okay. Enough. My girl deserves better. Tell me what you want, Daddy's got your back. When the call ended, warmth flooded my chest. Having family in your corner is everything. Quinn, I was back at the office. The moment I stepped off the elevator, 100 eyes swiveled my way, pity, admiration, a dash of schadenfreude. My work wife Jackie sprinted over and crushed me in a hug. Rachel, you legend. Public dissection of trash, popcorn-worthy. I laughed. This is just the trailer, wait for the feature. By lunchtime the company forum exploded. A post titled Exclusive, Engineering Manager Avery. In turn Hannah's epic romance rocketed to the top. It chronicled every sordid highlight, from the off-site sleepover to the infamous lace lingerie set incident, painted in technicolor detail. There was my snap of Mason's Last Supper, plus a shot of Hannah sobbing mascara rivers at her desk. Anonymous author, razor-sharp tone, definitely one of the gossip girls from the pantry. The comment thread towered hundreds of floors high. Holy crap, is this legit? Juiciest melon ever. Avery always looked polished. Who knew he was such a player? That Hannah chick struts around like a peacock. Turns out she was hunting a wedding ring. Major respect to the wife, total queen move. LMAO, fake bracelet and a buy one get one half off deal? Dude's cheap even to his side piece. Reading every swipe felt like a spa day. Mason's reputation was confetti in the wind. Management reacted at lightning speed. HR's bulletin arrived that afternoon. Hannah, terminated immediately for gross misconduct damaging corporate reputation. Mason, demoted and docked, stripped of his manager badge, banished to a cubicle as a line-level tech. Faster and harsher than I'd dreamed. Pretty sure Dad's shadow loomed behind the verdict. When security escorted Hannah out, she dashed to Mason's office for rescue. He hid behind the blinds, spineless. She wailed that he was a gutless coward, a motherless cur. Eventually the guards dragged her, heels scraping, to the elevator bank. So ended their grand amour, more soap opera than Netflix could script. After clock out, Mason waited by the lobby doors. Days of sleepless guilt had left him Alex, hollow-cheeked, eyes sunk, swagger vaporized. "Rachel, can we just talk?" he croaked. Nothing to say. I stepped around him. He caught my wrist. Just once. One last time. It was almost a plea. "Let's find a place and talk this through, okay?" I looked at him, so broken down, and felt nothing. "Fine," I nodded. "We'll talk at City Hall Marriage Bureau. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll wait for you." I shook off his hand and walked away without looking back. Mason, our story ends here. The next morning I reached the entrance right on Sam. Mason was already there. He'd changed into clean clothes and shaved, so he looked a little brighter, but the defeat in his eyes couldn't be hidden. We didn't speak. We pulled a number, filled the forms, took the photo. When the clerk set the 2 red divorce certificates in front of us, my whole body exhaled. 8 years of marriage, finished in that instant. Outside, the sun was blinding. Mason spoke suddenly. "Rachel." I stopped, but I didn't turn. "Are we really never going back?" His voice trembled, barely noticeable. I turned and looked at him, the man I'd loved for 8 whole years. Now he was only a familiar stranger. "Mason, do you know what our real problem was?" He stared, blank. "It wasn't Hannah, and it wasn't the cheating," I said calmly. "From day one we weren't on the same plane. I thought we were soldiers side by side, you only wanted a ladder to climb. I thought we were lovers who'd carry each other, you took my giving for granted. You never truly respected me, never truly loved me. You loved the Rachel who brought you perks and fed your vanity. The moment you brought another woman into our home, the Mason in my heart died." His lips moved, but no words came. "So stop asking idiotic questions about going back." I slipped the certificate into my purse like finishing a rite. "Move forward, Mason. Don't look back and don't come looking for me. We're square." I turned, stepped into the sunlight, and walked on. No sound followed me. 3 days after the divorce, Jackie rang me, giddy. "Rachel, check Clearwater Forum, now." I tapped the link, a hot new post sat at the top. "Congrats to X Avery of Engineering, here's your severance goodie bag." The post said Mason, demoted, had lost his grip and blown a mission-critical project. Before, my father could fix that with one call. Now, no one wiped his mess. Losses hit 7 figures. The new manager slammed the table and told him to pack up. Someone snapped a photo, Mason hugging a cardboard box, security escorting him out, spine bent like a stray dog. Jackie added the grapevine claimed Mason called Dolores the same Sam, blaming me for torpedoing his career and ruining his life. She already had high blood pressure, the rant nearly exploded her veins. I scrolled the chat logs and felt nothing. That afternoon an unknown number rang. "Is this Rachel?" A nurse, matter of fact. "Your Dolores has suffered a stroke. She's in surgery, critical. You're listed as emergency contact, can you come?" My Dolores. The woman who jabbed a finger at me and called me a homewrecker. I walked to the window, phone to my ear, watching traffic ribbon below. "Nurse, you've got the wrong person," I said, light and clear. "I divorced her son Mason yesterday. I'm not family and I owe nothing. She has another child, Mason. Call him." I hung up. Sun pooled warm on my skin. The next day Mason borrowed a friend's phone. His voice was hoarse, dripping venom. "Rachel, my mother is dead. Happy now, you witch? If you hadn't turned your back she'd still be alive. How can you be so cruel?" I listened to his snarling collapse. "Mason." When he ran out of rage, I spoke. She was your mother, not mine. Raising her and burying her was your job, not mine. If you'd had an ounce of responsibility, remembered her while you fooled around, manned up when you got fired, she wouldn't have died of your failures. Dumping your incompetence on others, you really are Dolores's son. Heavy breathing, then choked sobs. I ended the call. A week later I listed the house, my premarital assets, and erased every trace of him. Among the viewers was a former co-worker of Mason's, more interested in gossip than square footage. She told me Dolores's funeral was threadbare. Mason begged colleagues for cash condolence gifts, they dodged him like plague. He tried selling the car my parents had helped finance, but it had already been seized for gambling debts. Relatives finally lent enough for cremation. He's jobless, motherless, wifeless, tragic, she sighed. I smiled, said nothing. This wasn't tragedy, it was reckoning. The sale closed quickly. On signing day I drove to the coast, shredded the red divorce certificate, and scattered the pieces into the wind. My phone buzzed, Richard Sterling, trash gone, load lightened. Dad booked you a ticket to Europe, go breathe. I gazed at the seamless blue horizon, eyes brimming. Good dot. From now on, sky wide, sea vast, each of us stays where we fall. Thank you for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If you liked it, hit like and share with friends. We can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.